I'm not surprised at all that they took away my citizenship, and to be honest, having British citizenship in this time, this current political situation, is exactly the same as not having British citizenship. I've been here for 2.5 years. I've been abroad in a prison for the last 2.5 years without trial. No one's even asked about me from the British government. What does it mean to be a British citizen anyway? To be honest, I don't care. I don't want British citizenship. It's just a piece of paper. I don't even recognise it.
Do you have any message for the Prime Minister or for the British Home Secretary at the moment, Jack?
I don't really want to speak to him directly, and at the same time, I don't think it makes much difference, But I can say to him, I don't want your passport, I don't want your citizenship anyway, so keep it, I don't want it. I'm aware that Canada hasn't, as far as I know, stripped me of the citizenship, which is, I suppose, a good sign. But like I said, I've been here for 2.5 years without trial, without even visits. I can't even speak to my mum or father for more than 2 years. I was brought up believing that Canada was always a bit better than Britain. I think that's the case, to be honest. If Canada can genuinely consider me a citizen, etc., then I'd like them to help me. I'd like them to take me out from here. It's been 2.5 years, like I said, without trial. And it's just got ridiculous, to be honest. I'm not a murderer. I never took anyone as a slave. I made just a stupid mistake in coming to Syria. And if I have to be put to trial, etc., then not in just some haphazard way, just kept in a prison abroad.
What would you say to the Canadian Prime Minister or the Canadian government if you were sitting face to face with them? What kind of appeal would you make to them, do you think?
I don't want to try and persuade anyone or irritate anyone to help me. If they don't want to help me, they're not going to help me. And me trying to persuade them or not, not going to convince a whole state or a whole country to come and save me like some sort of Superman film. I don't want to do that. If they want to help me, they'll help me, and I'd love that. That would be brilliant. But I don't think me saying you should do it because of this is going to make any difference. They have their own decisions that they make, and that's all.
Your parents have told Canadian newspapers that they've been left destitute by the court action the British government took against them about sending you money. They can't sleep, and the whole affair has devastated the family. Do you feel guilty about that? What do you regret most about all this?
Of course I feel guilty. That's one of the worst things about being in this place, because I know I've done something wrong and I'm not in a position to put it right, because I have no way of doing so here, if that makes sense. Of course I feel guilty. With a stupid decision I made, I ruined my family. I don't know to what extent, because there's some things I don't actually know what happened in Britain, but I know the state of my family is terrible. I wait for 2 months, or sometimes more than 2 months, until the Red Cross comes here, just to hear if they're in prison or not. And they have nothing to, they're not terrorists. I think that's something the whole world has sort of understood in this weird period. But of course I feel guilty. It's my mum and dad. It's one of the worst things about being in this prison, is I can't do anything about it.
What do you think that other British young people can learn from what you've done? What can they learn from your experience going away, joining an extremist organisation?
The question is mainly going to be directed to the Muslims in Britain, of course, because the decision I made is very directly related to Islam and the fact that I became Muslim and I am Muslim. I think so. In asking that at the moment, I'm going to have to sort of reply to the Muslims in Britain. So I would advise them to first off learn their religion properly. The reason I came here, or the trap that I fell into here, was all due to the fact that I didn't learn my religion properly. I didn't understand what the fundamental principle of Islam was, and etc. I didn't understand what I was doing because I had a lot of ignorance. So they should learn their religion properly. They should go back to the fundamental aspects of Islam that would obviously stop them, if they acted by it, from making these sort of crazy mistakes. I advise anyone who's going to judge me, or I don't mean in a court sense, I mean in their own selves, anyone who's going to try and judge me or have their own opinion about what happened to me in Syria, what happened with my mom, what happened with my dad, etc., then they should wait until the whole story really comes out. Things should be based on evidence. Things should be based on what actually happened, with a way that can be proved, not just on things that I may have said in prison, because you know what prisons are like, and you know what... Anyway, I don't want to go into too much detail here, but things should always be based on evidence.